Assalamu Alaikum, beautiful people, and welcome back to the channel. If you're here for a story that will send shivers down your spine, open your eyes to the unseen, and deepen your understanding of ancient prophecies, then you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we are delving into one of the most astonishing and spine-chilling narratives from Islamic tradition. A true account, vouched for by none other than the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, himself. This isn't just a story, it's a glimpse behind the veil of the unknown, a journey to a mysterious island, and an encounter with a figure of unimaginable power and deception. Before we embark on this incredible adventure, if you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Join our growing community as we explore the rich tapestry of Islamic history, prophecy, and wisdom. And if you're already part of the family, welcome back. Your likes, shares, and comments mean the world to us and help these vital stories reach even more hearts and minds. So smash that like button now, because trust me, you're not going to want to miss a single moment of what's coming next. Today, we're going to talk about a man whose name resonates through history, Tamim al-Dari. May Allah be pleased with him. He was a companion of the Prophet Muhammad, a man whose life took an extraordinary turn, making him the only companion to have personally encountered the greatest deceiver mankind will ever face, Al-Masih Ad-Dajjal, the Antichrist. This isn't folklore. It's a meticulously documented account recorded in the most authentic collections of Hadith, primarily in Sahih Muslim. So settle in, turn off your distractions, and prepare to be captivated, because the tale of Tamim al-Dari is about to unfold. Our story begins, as many great adventures do, on the open sea. Imagine, if you will, the vast, unforgiving expanse of the ocean. Tamim al-Dari, along with 30 of his companions from the tribe of Lakham and Judam, set sail. They were traders, men accustomed to the perils of the sea, their lives intertwined with the rhythm of the waves and the capricious moods of the winds. Their vessel, likely a sturdy but relatively small dhow, was their home, their livelihood, and their link to the world. They were on a maritime journey, perhaps heading to a distant port for commerce, their minds set on profitable ventures and safe return. But the sea, as any seasoned sailor knows, is a fickle mistress. And on this particular voyage, she unleashed her full fury. A violent storm, fierce and relentless, descended upon them. The winds howled like vengeful spirits, tearing at their sails, threatening to shred them to ribbons. The waves, enormous and monstrous, rose and crashed, tossing their ship about like a toy. Day turned into night, and night into day. But the storm showed no sign of abating. For a full month, they were at the mercy of the tempest, adrift, lost, and utterly helpless. Imagine the scene. 30 men huddled together, their faces etched with fear and desperation. The constant pitching and rolling, the spray of salt water, the chilling cold, the gnawing hunger and thirst. Their provisions dwindled, their hopes waned with each passing day. Every sunrise brought not relief, but another daunting stretch of endless blue. The familiar constellations that once guided them were obscured by thick, churning clouds. They were truly lost, swallowed by the immensity of the ocean, their prayers whispered amidst the roaring wind. Death, a cold and unwelcome passenger, seemed to loom larger with every crashing wave. Then, miraculously, after 30 long, agonizing days and nights, the storm began to subside. The winds softened, the waves calmed, and the oppressive clouds parted, revealing the blessed, warm rays of the sun. But their ordeal was far from over. They were still adrift, completely disoriented, with no idea of their location. Their ship was damaged, their supplies almost exhausted, and their spirits threadbare. Just as despair threatened to consume them entirely, a glimmer of hope appeared on the horizon. Through the mist, they sighted land. A silhouette, faint at first, then growing steadily clearer. An island. an uncharted island, rising from the vast unknown. Relief, pure and unadulterated, washed over them. Any land was better than the endless, merciless sea. With renewed vigor, they struggled to maneuver their damaged vessel towards the distant shore, their hearts pounding with a mixture of hope and trepidation. What awaited them on this mysterious land? As they approached the island, their senses were immediately on high alert. The shore was unlike anything they had ever seen. The landscape seemed unsettling. It wasn't the verdant, welcoming coastline one might hope for. There was an air of desolate mystery, a silence that felt heavy and ancient. They disembarked, their weary feet grateful to feel solid ground beneath them, even if it was strange and unwelcoming. They began to explore cautiously, sticking together, their eyes scanning their surroundings for any sign of life, any indication of inhabitants, or any source of fresh water. The island was rugged, sparsely vegetated, and seemed to hold an eerie stillness. The only sounds were the gentle lapping of the waves and their own cautious footsteps. It was then, in this desolate landscape, that they encountered something truly extraordinary, something that defied all their understanding and shattered the boundaries of their reality. Suddenly, a creature emerged from the dense undergrowth, unlike anything they had ever witnessed. Its appearance was grotesque and terrifying. The Hadith describes it as an animal with abundant hair, so much so that they could not distinguish its front from its back. It was a mass of fur, moving with an unsettling gait, its presence immediately generating a sense of unease and dread among the seasoned sailors. They were men who had faced storms and dangers, but this was different. This was unnatural. Naturally, they were terrified. This was not a bear, nor a wolf, nor any creature known to them from their travels. Its sheer peculiarity, its almost monstrous appearance, filled them with a primal fear. They instinctively recoiled, some drawing their swords, others preparing for a desperate fight. But then, the creature did something that transcended terror and plunged them into outright disbelief. It spoke. Yes, it spoke, in clear, articulate human language. Imagine the shock, the sheer mind-bending astonishment. An animal, a beast, speaking to them. This was beyond their wildest nightmares and their most fantastical tales. The beast addressed them, its voice likely deep and guttural, cutting through the eerie silence of the island. It said, "Oh, people, what are you doing here?" The companions, momentarily stunned into silence by this impossible phenomenon, could only stare. Tamim al-Dari, perhaps the most composed among them, or perhaps simply the one who found his voice first, managed to respond, asking, "What are you?" The creature replied, "I am Al-Jassasa." Al-Jassasa, a name that, in Arabic, carries the meaning of the spy or the one who investigates. Its very existence suggested a deeper, more profound mystery at play on this island. Al-Jassasa then continued, her voice unwavering, "Go to that man in the monastery, for he is eager for your news." And with that, it pointed in a direction, indicating a specific location on the island. The companions, still reeling from the shock of encountering a speaking beast, exchanged bewildered glances. A man in a monastery? On this desolate, uncharted island, inhabited by a hairy, talking creature? The layers of strangeness were piling up, one on top of the other, defying all logic and reason. But the creature's words carried a strange authority, a sense of urgency. And what choice did they have? They were stranded, and this creature, terrifying as it was, had offered a direction. So, driven by a mixture of fear, bewilderment, and an insatiable curiosity, they began to follow the creature's implied instructions, heading towards the direction it had indicated. The walk was tense, filled with whispered questions and nervous glances. Who was this man? What did Al-Jasasa mean by eager for your news? After a short journey, they arrived at what appeared to be a monastery or a fortified building. It was a structure that seemed out of place on such a wild island, hinting at a long-lost civilization or a reclusive inhabitant. As they cautiously approached, a sense of foreboding settled over them. Hey there, explorers. Are you as gripped by this incredible story as I am? We're diving deep into an ancient prophecy and a real-life encounter that will leave you speechless. If you're finding this content engaging, insightful, and thought-provoking, please show your support by hitting that like button right now. It genuinely helps our channel reach more people and share these powerful narratives. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Click that subscribe button and join our community for more incredible stories and discussions. Let's get back to Tamim al-Dari and the chilling discovery that awaited him. They entered the monastery, their weapons drawn, their senses heightened. And there, within the dimly lit confines of the ancient structure, they saw him, a man, but not just any man. This man was bound. And not merely bound, but bound in a way that spoke of immense strength and extraordinary measures taken to contain him. He was chained from his neck to his knees, his hands tied firmly to his neck, his legs bound tightly to his ankles with heavy iron chains. His hair was long and wild, his eyes piercing and intense. His entire demeanor exuded an aura of immense power, confined yet undeniably present. He was a terrifying sight, a figure of raw, untamed force held captive. This was no ordinary prisoner. The sheer scale of his restraints indicated that he was not only incredibly strong, but also incredibly dangerous. His presence filled the room, radiating an oppressive energy that instantly silenced any whispers among Tamim al-Dari's companions. The bound man, despite his captivity, was the first to speak, his voice commanding and resonant. He seemed to possess an unnatural awareness, as if he had been expecting them, or perhaps knew of their arrival before they even entered. He looked at them, his gaze penetrating, and asked, "Who are you?" Tamim al-Dari replied, "We are people from Arabia. We embarked on a ship, and a storm came upon us, and we were lost for a month. Then we drifted to your island, and we met a beast with abundant hair, which said to us, 'Go to that man in the monastery, for he is eager for your news.' So we came to you." The bound man listened intently, his eyes never leaving their faces. He absorbed their story, his expression unreadable, yet suggesting a profound knowledge of the world beyond his chains. Then he began to ask his own questions, and it was these questions that would forever etch this encounter into the annals of Islamic prophecy. These were not casual inquiries. They were specific, pointed questions about events unfolding in the Arabian Peninsula, events that were deeply significant to the nascent Muslim community. His first question was, "Tell me about the date palm trees of Baisan. Do they still bear fruit?" Baisan, a city in Palestine, was known for its abundant date palms. The companions, not understanding the significance of the question, simply replied that the trees were indeed bearing fruit. The bound man's response was chilling. He said, "Soon they will cease to bear fruit." This was a prophecy, a prediction of future events, spoken by a man chained on a remote island. This statement immediately added another layer of mystery and dread to their encounter. How could he know this? What connection did he have to distant lands and their agricultural yields? His second question followed swiftly. "Tell me about the lake of Tiberias. Is there still water in it?" Lake Tiberias, also known as the Sea of Galilee, is a large freshwater lake, a vital source of water for the region. Again, the companions confirmed that yes, there was still abundant water in the lake, and again the bound man offered a grim prediction. Soon its water will dry up. Another prophecy, another sign of a future cataclysm. The implications were profound. This man, wherever he was, held knowledge of global events, of ecological shifts that would impact vast populations. His predictions were not just random guesses, they were declarations of coming change, spoken with absolute certainty. His third and final question was the most specific and perhaps the most unsettling for Tamim al-Dari and his companions. Tell me about the spring of Zugar. Is there still water in it? And do the people of the region irrigate their lands with its water? The spring of Zugar was another significant water source in the Arabian Peninsula, crucial for irrigation and sustenance in its locality. The companions confirmed that yes, the spring was flowing, and the people were still irrigating their lands with its water. The bound man's reply echoed his previous predictions. Soon, its water will dry up. Then, having received his answers and delivered his prophecies, the bound man changed the subject, his voice taking on an even more profound and terrifying tone. He posed the ultimate question, the one that revealed his true identity. He said, "Inform me about the prophet of the unlettered people. What has he done?" This question sent a jolt through Tamim al-Dari and his companions. The prophet of the unlettered people was a clear reference to Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. The bound man knew about him, about his advent. This was no ordinary captive. This was a being intimately aware of the spiritual and political landscape of the known world, even from his isolated prison. Tamim al-Dari responded, explaining that the Prophet Muhammad had emerged in Mecca, migrated to Medina, and that the Arabs had rallied behind him. He detailed the Prophet's successes, the spread of Islam, and the growing strength of the Muslim community. The bound man listened to this account with an eerie intensity. When Tamim al-Dari finished, the captive spoke, his voice now filled with a chilling self-revelation. "Has it really happened?" he asked, as if confirming the inevitable. "Yes," replied Tamim al-Dari. Then the bound man declared, "It is better for them that they obey him." And with that statement, he finally revealed his terrifying identity. He said, "Indeed, I am Al-Masih Ad-Dajjal." The words hung in the air, heavy with dread, echoing through the cold stone walls of the monastery. Al-Masih Ad-Dajjal, the Antichrist, the greatest fitna, the greatest trial mankind would ever face. The deceiver, whose coming had been prophesied by prophets throughout history, and whose signs had been warned about by the Prophet Muhammad. And here he was, before them, chained on a mysterious island, confirming his own existence and his impending release. The companions must have been utterly paralyzed by this revelation. The creature outside, the remote island, the prophecies about distant lands, and now this chained being declaring himself to be the Dajjal. Their minds must have struggled to process the enormity of what they were witnessing. The Dajjal then continued, elaborating on his nature and his eventual release. He said, "I am about to be permitted to leave. Then I will go forth and travel through the earth, and I will not leave any town without entering it in 40 nights, except for Mecca and Medina, for these two places are forbidden to me. Whenever I try to enter one of them, an angel with a sword in his hand will face me and bar my way, and on every pathway to them there will be angels guarding them." This was the chilling climax of their encounter. The Dajjal was not merely a figure of prophecy. He was a living, breathing, conscious entity, currently held captive, but with a predetermined time for his release. His words painted a terrifying picture of a global rampage, a deception that would sweep across the earth, sparing only the two holy cities of Islam. The specific mention of angels guarding Mecca and Medina offered a sliver of divine protection amidst the overwhelming dread. Imagine the companions' journey back to their ship. The wind, which once symbolized their suffering, now carried a new, terrifying weight. Every wave, every shadow, every rustle of the wind must have reminded them of the speaking beast and the chained monster. They had stumbled upon a secret so profound, so earth-shattering, that it would change their lives forever. Their harrowing sea voyage had led them not just to an island, but to the precipice of end-time prophecy. They managed to repair their ship sufficiently to continue their journey. What is clear is their ultimate destination, Medina, the city of the Prophet. Upon their return, Tamim al-Dari, a man now burdened with an extraordinary secret, immediately sought out the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. He gathered his courage and with a heart full of awe and trepidation recounted the entire unbelievable saga. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, listened intently to Tamim al-Dari's every word. The companions present must have hung on every detail, their faces reflecting a mixture of disbelief and profound understanding. This was not a casual story. This was a divine confirmation, a vital piece of the puzzle of end-time events. After Tamim al-Dari finished his account, the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, stood up. His face shone with the light of prophecy, his words carrying immense weight and authority. He praised Allah, then he addressed his companions, saying, "This is Tamim al-Dari, and he has narrated to me a story that agrees with what I used to tell you about Al-Masih Ad-Dajjal and about Mecca and Medina." The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Indeed, the Dajjal is in the Syrian Sea or the Yemeni Sea. No, rather, he is in the eastern direction. He is in the eastern direction. He is in the eastern direction." And he pointed with his hand towards the east. The Hadith then concludes with the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, stating, "This narration of Tamim al-Dari pleased me because it conformed to what I used to tell you about the Dajjal." He effectively vouched for the authenticity of Tamim al-Dari's story, turning it from a personal adventure into a communal warning and a foundational piece of Islamic eschatology. This incredible narrative, meticulously preserved in Sahih Muslim, is a cornerstone of our understanding of the Dajjal. It's not just a story, it's a profound teaching, a warning, and a reminder of the unseen forces at play in our world. Let's take a moment to reflect on some of the deeper meanings and implications of Tamim al-Dari's journey. Firstly, the encounter with Al-Jassasa. This mysterious creature, the spy, serves as an intermediary. Its very existence implies a system of surveillance, a network, or perhaps a guardian operating around the Dajjal. Its ability to speak human language is a clear sign of the supernatural, of powers beyond the natural order. It's a herald, a guide, leading the unsuspecting to the main event. What is its true nature? Secondly, the Dajjal's questions about the date palms of Baisan, the lake of Tiberias, and the spring of Zugar. These are not random inquiries. They are specific signs of the end times, indicators of ecological and environmental changes that will precede or accompany the Dajjal's full emergence. The drying up of these vital water sources signifies a period of great hardship, famine, and environmental collapse, which will make people more desperate and thus more susceptible to the Dajjal's false promises of prosperity and abundance. The Dajjal, even in his captivity, is aware of these signs, intimately connected to the unfolding of time and prophecy. Thirdly, the Dajjal's physical description and captivity. He is bound with immense chains, suggesting that his power is formidable, requiring extraordinary measures to contain him. This confinement is a divine act, a testament to Allah's control over all creation, even the greatest deceiver. His release is not accidental, it is by divine permission, a part of Allah's grand plan for the testing of humanity. The image of him chained, awaiting his time, is both terrifying and oddly reassuring. He is not yet free to wreak havoc. Are you still with me on this epic journey, diving deep into the mysteries of Islam? I hope this story of Tamim al-Dari and the Dajjal is keeping you on the edge of your seat. If you're finding this content engaging, insightful, and thought-provoking, please show your support by hitting that like button right now. Every like helps our channel reach more people and share these powerful narratives. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Click that subscribe button and join our community for more incredible stories and discussions. Let's get back to the final powerful reflections on this astonishing encounter. Fourthly, the Dajjal's knowledge of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and his message. This is crucial. It shows that the Dajjal is not merely a force of chaos. He is a conscious, intelligent being who is fully aware of the divine truth, yet actively chooses to rebel against it. He knows about the Prophet, he knows about Islam, and he even acknowledges that it is better for them that they obey him. This isn't a statement of conversion, but a recognition of the truth that he, in his arrogance and rebellion, rejects. His deception will thus be a calculated, intentional effort to mislead those who have been warned about him. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, the Prophet Muhammad's peace and blessings be upon him, confirmation. The fact that the Prophet himself narrated this story and explicitly stated its agreement with his own teachings elevates it to a level of unquestionable authenticity. It's a direct prophetic seal of approval. This wasn't merely a fascinating traveler's tale. It was a piece of divine revelation manifested through human experience. It underscored the reality of the Dajjal and the importance of being prepared for his advent. The story of Tamim al-Dari is not just an ancient anecdote, it's a powerful and timeless warning. It tells us that the Dajjal is real, he is currently imprisoned, and his release is a definite future event. It reminds us of the profound tests and deceptions that will face humanity in the end times. What can we learn from this extraordinary narrative for our own lives? The reality of the unseen. This story forces us to confront the reality of the unseen world. There are phenomena, creatures and beings that exist beyond our immediate perception, and some of them are incredibly powerful and significant. It humbles us and reminds us of the vastness of Allah's creation. The importance of prophecy. Islamic prophecy, particularly concerning the end times, is not mere speculation. It is divinely revealed knowledge meant to prepare us. The story of Tamim al-Dari gives a concrete historical anchor to these prophecies, making them more vivid and urgent. The nature of deception. The Dajjal is the ultimate deceiver. His very existence is a test. He will appear with seemingly miraculous powers, offering solutions to the world's problems, but his true aim will be to lead people away from Allah. This story highlights his intelligence, his awareness, and the methodical nature of his planned deception. The protection of Allah. Despite the terrifying nature of the Dajjal, the story also offers comfort. He is bound by divine decree. Mecca and Medina are protected by angels. This reminds us that ultimately, Allah is in control, and He provides protection for those who sincerely believe and seek His refuge. Preparation is key. Knowing about the Dajjal is not enough. We must prepare. This preparation involves strengthening our faith, adhering to the teachings of Islam, seeking knowledge, and continuously making dua, supplication, for protection from his fitna, trial. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, taught us specific supplications to recite in prayer, especially during the Tashahhud, to seek refuge from the Dajjal. The story of Tamim al-Dari is a profound reminder that we live in a world steeped in divine plan, where history, prophecy, and individual experiences intertwine. It pushes us to contemplate our purpose, our ultimate destination, and the trials that lie ahead. It calls us to vigilance, to discernment, and to an unwavering reliance on Allah. So as we conclude this epic tale, I hope your minds are buzzing with contemplation and your hearts are filled with a renewed sense of purpose. The world is full of wonders and warnings, and it is through stories like these that we gain insight, wisdom, and a deeper connection to our faith. Thank you for joining me on this incredible journey into the heart of Islamic prophecy. I hope you found this deep dive into the story of Tamim al-Dari as captivating and thought-provoking as I did. What was the most striking part of this story for you? Let me know in the comments below. I love reading your insights and engaging in meaningful discussions. If you enjoyed this video, please, I urge you, hit that like button one more time before you go. It truly helps our channel grow and allows us to continue bringing you more high-quality, engaging content like this. And if you're not already part of our amazing community, now is the perfect time to subscribe and turn on those notification bells so you do not miss any of our future explorations into Islamic history, spirituality, and prophecy. We have so many more fascinating stories and profound topics to explore together. From the lives of the prophets and companions to the signs of the last day, there's an endless well of knowledge and inspiration waiting to be discovered. So, stay tuned, keep learning, and keep growing in your faith. Until next time, may Allah bless you all, keep you safe, and guide you through all of life's trials. Assalamu Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.